Hi guys, and welcome back to Reed's Readers with your host Clinton Reed. And today I'm bringing with you let me move this pillow out of the way, sorry. My February wrap up. Ignore the fact that the chair is here. Just want it there so I can move the books as I talk about them to have somewhere to sit. Really need to I need another cart so I have what I read type thing. But so I'm actually going to start doing a thing starting this month. I'm going to start talking about stats in my videos of what I'm looking for and stuff like that. There's several things that I'm going to be following, and this is kind of a basis of mainly for Karina, because she wants an end of the year stats video from me. So this is me keeping track of all of that. So in the month of February, I read 13 books. And out of those 13 books, I have 8 5 stars, 2 4.5 stars, 2 4 stars, and 1 3 star. I have 0 rereads, which is weird for me because I tend to reread a lot. I have 5 books that has queer representation, one of which has queer side characters. So I don't really know if we're going to count that or not. But you'll understand. And I read 6 romance books, which leads me to a page count of 4,949 pages. And I also read, another thing that I like to follow is I read 0 Annabeth Albert books, but 1 TJ Cloon. I did DNF a book. I had DNF'd Your Dad Will Do by Katie Roberts. I'm not going to talk about that one because I only got an hour into the audiobook and I was just no, not for me. Okay, cool. But those are my stats. My lowest book of the month is this first one I'll talk about. And my top books are going to be the last 3, I do believe. Yeah, the bottom 3 are all kind of equal in placement. Well, the last one is the number 1 book of the month. The other 2 are kind of equal in their placement. Which, my top books that I'm labeling each month are going to be the ones that you're going to possibly see more so on my top books of the year video, because they're all new favorites. Doesn't mean that some of the others that I've read that are 5 stars can't make it on the list. Does that make sense? I'm rambling. So let's just get into the 13 books that I read this month. So, I'll set that there. My lowest rated book, that was a 3 star, and that I will be adding to this tote over here for an unhaul, which once, I kind of want us to go through the books one more time, and then we'll do I'll do an unhaul video, just so you guys can know which one's working or not. But this first one is, I listened to the audiobook for 5 Total Strangers by Natalie D. Richards. Gave it 3 stars because this is a really good, it was well written. But the reason why I didn't get a 4 stars or a 5, because I solved who was doing it fairly on. It's a little too obvious, and there was no twists that I didn't see coming. But this follows a girl named Mira as she really needs to get home to her mom's house because it's the anniversary of her mom's twin sister dying. So she decides to take a ride because all the flights are canceled because it's snowing, and takes a ride with a total of 4 other strangers in a car. Things start missing. Things start happening. What's going on? I really like Natalie D. Richards' writing, so I may check out another audiobook or 2 of hers and decide if I want to own the books or not. But yeah, I gave this 3 stars. It was a good ride. But I also think this one hindered because I read another thriller this month, which is the number 2 or 3 book of the month. And I read it right after, and the other one was just bam, amazing. So it was okay. So this one's actually just gonna go in there. Oh shit. My Big Mac, why is that in here? I dropped the books a minute ago. Okay. So now we're on to my 2 4-star reads. And I kind of have them in sort of an order, like all the books in an order of like this one better than this one, but the rating, yada yada. And my second to least favorite book of the month, fortunately, is Feel My Pain by K.A. Merkin, which I was glad I was gifted this by the authors. I really enjoyed the writing style of this. It's just, this is a Mel erotica about 2 enemies that are cursed to feel each other's pain, Roach and Zane. My issue I had with this was, this is an erotica. There's a lot of Mel romance scenes that happen in this. I was only turned on by one of them, and that was the last sex scene in the book. This is a really interesting story. It's very dark, dirty. I will say I didn't look at the trigger warnings, and I should have. I will let you know that the trigger warnings are for violence, offensive language, morally ambiguous characters, as well as sensitive topics of child abuse / child rape, addiction, attempted suicide on page, bang rape, stuff like that. It wasn't until it was going to get a 3.5, but the ending blew my mind. It was changed my opinion. I will also say that there's a peeing scene where the 2 of them are peeing on a burnt down building, and it's one of the most endearing scenes I have ever read in a book. And I don't know how to feel about that. So, 4-star. It will go back on our queer shelf, and I love it. So, I do highly recommend this if this is something you're interested in. My next 4-star was a gift from Sterling, so I had to read it. But Sterling gifted me with Descendants, Dizzy's New Fortune, which is a graphic novel, which takes place, in my opinion, between movie 2 and movie 3. But this is all about Dizzy, and it was so cute. It just was so adorable, and I highly recommend it. If you don't know what Disney's Descendants is, Descendants is a movie franchise, book franchise, and everything about the children of the villains. And Dizzy is the granddaughter of the evil stepmother of Lady Tremaine. I do believe that she's Drusilla's daughter. And Dizzy happens to be one of my favorite characters. This follows her with some of the other VK kids, such as, Gil, the son of Captain Hook, Gus, the son of Gaston, and Celia, the daughter of Dr. Facilier. So, this was super cute. I'm not gonna talk much about this. So, just if you're a huge Descendants fan, I highly recommend this. Got 4 stars. Now we're into my 8 5-stars of the month. Just a really good reading month, just saying. So, oh no, I forgot about my 4.5 stars. My bad. I'm Evil. My bad, guys. These next 2 books are my 4.5s of the month. First one being Crown of Midnight by Sarah J. Maas. I am buddy reading the Throne of Glass series with a bunch of people such as Kaylani, Tracy, Karina, and Hope. I'm not going to say much on this. Just as the second book to the Thread of Glass series. I really enjoyed this series. Can't wait to read Heir of Fire. But follows an assassin by the name of Selena Sardothian and this shit that goes on. Yeah, Throne of Glass has been around and everyone talks about it, so I'm sure you guys know what this is about. So, gave that a 4.5. It's not quite a 5-star yet, but cool. We'll do that. Now we're falling. The other 4.5 is a lot. I averaged out all the short stories in this, which be like a sticky note in here somewhere. Yeah. This is Tales from the Shadowhunter Academy by Cassandra Clare, Sarah Reese Brennan, Maureen Johnson, and Robin Westerman. This mainly follows Simon's time at the Shadowhunters Academy. My favorite stories are Born to Endless Night, Angels Twice Dissenting, Fiery Trial, Bitter of Tongue, and I know Whitechapel Fiend. I think my all-time favorite is Born to Endless Night, which follows Magnus and Alec, and oh my god. 4.5. If you don't know what the Shadowhunters world is, where have you been? I'm not going to go more into that. The Mass and the Clares, I'm not really going to go into much detail on because they've been around for like ever, so I feel like everybody knows what they're about, and I'm just slow to uptake on these. Okay, now we're to the 5 stars. My bad. It's been a long week. Okay, guys. My lowest 5-star has to go to... The first 5-star would be Nicole Byers, #VeryFat, #VeryBrave, which was kindly gifted to me from Nikki. Love you, Nikki. Which this is basically just all about women empowerment and being whatever size you want and wearing a bikini. I know I'm not the target audience for this, but this really hit home. As someone who is overweight and who has never felt comfortable in my own skin and my own body, this has really taught me different ways to become #brave, as #VeryBrave, as she says, and wanting to bring that into my life. Nicole Byer is probably my favorite comedian of all time. Like, I'm like in love with her. And she's just everything that I want. She just inspires me to want to be more like her. Because she's just fabulous and badass. And this is just like a nonfiction about becoming comfortable in your own skin. And you can read this in her voice. Like, there are parts where it says in parentheses, where was it? Read that in a high-pitched baby voice because it's fun, and that's how I say it. I'm a little water baby. Love her. She's amazing. She's everything. So, 5 out of 5 stars. Highly recommend this book. And I highly recommend you go check out any of her stand-up or anything she's in, because she is phenomenal. #blessed. I don't know. Next on the 5 stars, these next 2 can be like moved around whichever way. I ended up listening to quite a bit of audiobooks this month, which, no, just saying, in the future I'm going to be listening to a lot of audiobooks because I can listen to audiobooks while working, and that's going to help me a lot to focus and get through a lot of these books. Wait till you see February or March's. I'm already on. It's only the 5th day of the month, and I'm on my 4th book. It's not on my March TBR. We'll see what happens. But this next one is Actor Age Eve Brown by Talia Hibbert. This follows the 3rd and final Brown sister, who's a certified hot mess. No matter how hard she strives to fight or to do what's right, life just keeps getting in the way. And this is when she meets Jacob, who is slightly autistic and owns a bed and breakfast. Yeah, B&B. It's understaffed. She got kicked out of her parents' house, drove past, oh, help wanted sign, yada, yada, yada. Goes into audition, goes to hell, comes out, crying in the car. Jacob changes his mind, and Jacob's friend, they come running to find her, yada, yada. She backs up and runs over Jacob, and things just go from there. This is phenomenal. Still not my favorite in the series. I will state this is my least favorite in the series as a whole. But I think I gave all 3 5 stars. But Danny will forever be my favorite Brown sister. But I wanted to finish off this series so that I can chip. Yay, series done. I will be rereading these, especially Danny, because Danny is bisexual queen, which, listen, everything. But I really love Eve, and I identified with a lot of parts of Eve as well. So, highly recommend, if you have not checked out the Brown Sisters, do it. Again, finishing off another romance series, I listened and finished Tools of Engagement by Tessa Bailey, because I really want to read her new stuff. But this is the 3rd and final one to... Does this even... series have a name? I don't think the series has a name. Just says this series. This is the 3rd book to Fix Her Up. But this book follows Bethany Castle as she steps away from her family and wants to flip her own house. And Wes Daniels, the hot cowboy that wants to come help and save her. Listen, this was everything. I'm a huge HGTV fan, and this gave me everything I wanted. I will state, Fixer Up has my favorite girl. This has my favorite guy. Just wasn't... I had some issues with Love Her or Lose Her, but I love this. 5 out of 5 stars. Amazing. Just, like I said, February was a lot of romance, because next one is fucking phenomenal. These next 5 could all be on my top 20 of 20, or my top list for 2022. Who knows? But we have The Charm Offensive by Allison Cochran. Already pre-ordered her next book because this was so good. This follows Dev and Charlie as they're filming a bachelorette kind of style reality show. Charlie's the bachelor of a show called Ever After, and Dev Deshpande is his handler, and the things that happened. I kind of want people to go in this a little bit blind past that. This is everything I needed at the time and everything I've ever wanted. There's even a Notebook reference in this. I don't remember the exact words, but when he said it, I went, The Notebook? And they're like, we're not having a Notebook love. And I was like, he referenced The Notebook in a queer novel. Just everything. Check it out, please. Next is the TJ Cloon of the month. Shocking that it's not number one. Well, she is see number 1, number 2, and number 3, and you'll understand. Is Bear, Otter, and the Kid by TJ Cloon. This follows Bear McKenna, whose mother just disappeared, runs away, leaves a note stating, hey, my so-and-so boyfriend got a job over here. I'm leaving your 7-year-old or your 6-year-old brother, Tyson, with you. Bye! Have a good life. She leaves 3 days before he turns 18. So now he has to take care of Tyson. And then Otter enters in. Otter, who is Bear's best friend's older brother. And just the romance that ensues. I was bawling my eyes out because Tyson is fucking amazing. As a 9-year-old little boy, he is everything. Because this is like, oh, she runs away 3 years later. This is what happens. And I cannot wait to continue on in this series because this is just precious. And this is also TJ Cloon's first published work. So it is, you can tell, after reading Green Creek, you can tell this isn't the best thing he's ever written. But it is fucking amazing, and it's TJ Cloon, and everything I've read by TJ Cloon has gotten 5 stars. So, are we even surprised that I gave a TJ Cloon book 5 stars? We're surprised that it's not the last one I'm talking about, but hey. Next, we have Him by Serena Bowen and Elle Kennedy. This is probably my favorite adult romance book currently. I cannot wait to read Us. Us is on this month's TBR. Really hope I get to that. But this follows Jamie and Ryan, who are hockey players playing for opposite teams, and romance that ensues between hockey players. Don't really want to say much more. A buddy read this with Sterling, Tracy, and Nikki, and I think all of us have fucking loved it. Nikki's the only one that I haven't heard her review of it yet, but I mean, there are scenes. Like, did we wander onto the set of Sex and the City? If so, I'm Samantha. Called it. Like, listen. Just everything. Read it. I'm so mad that it took me so long to read this because this is everything. Like, so long to actually, like, pick up the book and read it. Does that make sense? And thank you for whoever got it for me for Christmas. Want to say it was Jared and Brittany. I'm not 100%, but love it. Thank you guys for probably one of my favorite books of the entire year. So. Now we're to the 2 that I know for a fact will be on my, well, him will also be, but on my tops of the year, because, wow. Next is The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. 5 out of 5 out of 5 out of 5 stars, bitch. This was everything. This follows a criminal psychotherapist named Theo as he tries to figure out Allison Barrison's story. Allison Barrison was found next to her husband's body, who's tied up to a chair that she shot in the face 5 times. And she was standing there in a white dress with a knife and bleeding from her wrists. And she hasn't said a word since. He's trying to solve it. That's all you need to know. Go into it, read it. Twists, turns, I saw nothing coming. Like, this is everything. Like, to the point where I want to get a hardback copy. This is everything. I'm at loss for words. If you like thrillers, check it out. Just... Okay, now this next one. I wasn't expecting to read this till March. But Kaylani and Sterling convinced me to go ahead and read it. And I finished it in 2 days. So, go me. But that is House of Sky and Breath. We all know that Crescent City, I was reading it, then sat it down. 4 months later, picked it up and loved it. I couldn't put this down. I'm not gonna say what it's about. Just fucking read it. Yeah, it's Sarah J. Maas and she gets a lot of hype, but there's a reason. We own 4 copies or 5 copies of this book in this house. Fucking read it. Don't ever take advice for or what to read from this video. These 3 books, fucking read them. Check out Crescent City. If you're a huge fan of ACOTAR, really, really, really check out Crescent City. Adult paranormal romance series. Urban fantasy. I didn't read this copy. I read Sterling's copy. I never noticed. Except for when I dropped him a second ago. It can't be. My copies are ripped. Fucking books on a million. What the hell? Whatever. I'll just buy me another copy for my shelf. Read it. Love it. So those are the 13 books I read in February. Have you read any of these? Comment down below and let me know your thoughts. Did I convince you to read 1, 2, 3, maybe 12? Who knows? The only one I hope you don't pick up is Fat Total Strangers, but that's check it out if you want to. It's an easy thriller. It was really good, well written. But yeah, all I've got for you guys today. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up. And if you're new, hit that subscribe because you know you want to. And until next time, guys, always remember to be fabulously yourself. Oh boy!